Welcome to This Week in Comedy. It's the year-end spectacular in review. Unfortunately, I have short-term memory loss, so the show's going to be about a minute long. No, actually, I'm very excited. We have a great guest tonight. We have a guy he's more than an actor. He's a lounge singer, he's a character actor, he's a lead actor. He creates a world of variety that should come back and be broadcast on television. He does it live. You're going to be seeing him in an upcoming Jon Favreau movie called Cowboys and Aliens. You know him from King of the Hill. You know him from Pete and Pete. You know him from so many shows, so many great shows, Seinfeld. Toby Huss is here. I'm very excited to have Toby Huss. Now, I got to tell you, it's been quite a year. Actually, it's been 6 months. We've been on the air for 6 months here. And I have a few notes from some of the shows that we did. Just notes about just general things, just from a couple of the shows. We're going to be showing you some clips from some of the highlights, along with Toby and Julie Mitchell, of course, and Vicky Pezza. They're here as usual tonight to provide you with the kind of entertainment that can only come from the This Weekend family of networks, whatever that means. Very lucky to have them. Okay, show number 1 was 6 months ago. The guests were Rick Overton and Paul Provenza. Overton's wit and performance is unparalleled, Rick Overton. Great actor, great improviser. Paul Provenza has really placed the value of comedy and the comedian back into society. It's the culture of comedy that Paul Provenza does with the show The Green Room. And I'm notating this, and then about my own self, I say, why the hell did I forget to tell him not to wear black? Because when Paul came in, he looked like the Wizard of Oz. He really did. It was black. There's black curtains. So that's a note that I made to myself. Number 2, the second show was the great Jeff Bolt from the Bay Area and the comedy team of Evan and Gareth, who have a pilot coming up on MTV. They're amazing, Evan and Gareth. And Jeff Bolt is great. He did a puppet thing that was hysterical, The World's Worst Ventriloquist. And then, for some reason, I decided to do a cold open, making a phone call to my father. And the only problem was my father was deceased. And I was pretending to talk to him. And that's the note, is never talk to the dead at the beginning of the show. Always wait and space it out. I have to tell you a quick story because it's the holidays, and then we're going to come back with some clips, and Toby and Julie and Vicky. It's Christmas, okay? So I'm Jewish, as you know, but my sister, who is an amazing actress, Rochelle Krasnick, the greatest, decided that she was going to try Christianity at some point. And I started calling her Sister Christian at that time. So she's trying Christianity, and she goes to a living room in the suburbs. They have a prayer meeting. And she decides that she wants to show my parents, who are then like in their late 50s, suburban Jews from Boston. She's going to show them what her life is like now that she has opened her life to Jesus and to Christianity. It's not easy for them to go to this meeting. You have to remember that. They grew up Orthodox Jews. Now we go to the meeting, and we walk into a house in Braintree, Massachusetts, and there are about 40 people, and they're on the floor. They're laid out on the floor, like you were at a revival meeting. And then we meet a minister, Minister Jim. And honest to God, and my sister introduces me to him. This is Minister Jim. And he looks at me and he says, "You are the king of Israel, and you have to lead the Jewish people to freedom." And he said, "Do you have anything to say to me?" And I said, "Yes, I'd like to leave." So this is the beginning now. And now you got to remember, people's bodies are on the floor because Reverend Jim, Minister Jim, when he touches you with his hand, it's very hot, and you go out. So people are now out on the floor. Now I'm pulling my mother and my father like a Hebrew train of sadness over the bodies. I'm pulling them through the living room. And my mother just turns to me and she says, "Look, if it helps her, great, but get me the hell out of here, all right? I got to get out of here." That's a little snippet of Christmas time in the Krasnick family. Now enjoy these fine clips, these amazing clips from the great Toby Huss, some of his work, Rudy Cassone, and a couple of other clips, and then we're going to come back with Julie Mitchell in the news, Vicky Pezza. Welcome to This Week in Comedy.
This tune's for you, Sarah Palin, you nut. You took a broken down war hero senator from Arizona and made him a contender. Hats off, pussycat. You make him feel so young. You make him feel his time has come. We can already smell your wind and see your giant toothy grin begin. You got that trailer park chic. He's got that maverick mystique and a face full of flyboy scars, but you can wrestle polar bars. You and him are just like a couple of tots running around the White House. Look at all the stuff that beer money bought. You make him feel so young. You make him feel the black guys on the run. He's the favorite son, and he ain't 101. Who cares if he's old and gray? Thank God you're just a heartbeat away, 'cause you make him feel so young. You make him feel so young, you baby maker. You make him feel his dong ain't done. Man, he's totally flipped his wig. He loves him a lipstick. Piggy pig, you dig? Don't call him old. Ho ho, he's liable to freak. He'll explode. He'll run back to his box, my friend, or he'll crap his new deep pens.
Yeah, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? The bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay. Snoop Dogg in the mother grabbing hi-yos. Hi-yos. That's silly to me.
It's raining comedy in California, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to This Week in Comedy. I'm Ed Krasik, your host. We have a great show. I want to get right to this segment, which is called Open Letters. This is an open letter. I have decided that I'm going to go out to some of my heroes and try to see if I can get them on the show. Because now that we have Skype, we have all this technology, they don't have to leave their homes, they can sit right where they are, and maybe they will come on This Week in Comedy. So I'm starting a campaign tonight with open letters, and this one is to Woody Allen. Recently I saw Dick Cavett and Mel Brooks live on stage, and my whole life I've loved Woody Allen. So I'll just go right to you. Dear Woody, life is short. I'll cut right to the chase. Please come on the show. That's it. No, Woody, we talk about comedy from the creator's perspective, writers, directors, actors, musicians, in other words, you. In college at Syracuse University, it was 60 below zero. Everyone wore a ski mask. It looked like it was a robbery convention over there from a liquor store. And I was in my room, and my friend Bruce and I would stay up reading Without Feathers aloud. It was amazing. I was boarding at a frat house. I met Bruce when I came down the stairs. He was playing the piano. He was playing the theme to Blazing Saddles. I started singing the words. We've been friends ever since. But Without Feathers cemented our friendship. Let me just say that people don't, you remember Frankie Lane, of course. So he sang Blazing Saddles, and I know you talk about the greats, and I know you were influenced by some of the greats of your generation. People don't talk like that anymore. You don't hear anybody say they were the greats. You don't hear things like the great Angelina Jolie. It just doesn't happen so much. I work for a woman named Chelsea Handler, and Chelsea apparently recently met you in New York and finished your apple pie. So I feel like I'm getting closer to you at this time. In college, Annie Hall really made me laugh and showed me that neurosis I had always felt since childhood. Not only was it okay, but it was to be celebrated and laughed at. At 16, I took a date to see Love and Death. I laughed from beginning to end. I don't think I've ever laughed like that since. The interview can be short. It'll include questions on the Knicks, jazz, film, writing, the existence of God, Bob Hope, Danny Simon, therapy, death, why no one funny ever speaks about depression, and why many Jews develop the posture of a question mark. It'll have all those kinds of questions, whatever interests you, whatever you want to talk about. I saw Dick Cavett and Mel Brooks on stage, and it inspired me so much. I wanted to call you. I wanted to reach out to you and see if we could speak. I see that only through community can anyone really survive this kind of thing. And there we were, there they were, Dick Cavett and Mel Brooks, two friends on stage telling stories in front of an entire audience. We'll do it on Skype. It's not a big deal. Years ago on a show called Just Shoot Me, I played a guy who thought he was you. You were nice enough to come on the show with a little audio cameo. And it was the highlight of my career so far. So I know when you came out to promote the Jade Scorpion, I saw you at the Jazz Bakery, so I see you played music. And another strange connection is that I did a show for NBC called I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, believe it or not. It was in Costa Rica. And I went to the pool one day and there was an alligator there. So I thought I was going to die. It's a country that boasts its prestigious country for entomology. And the only thing that sort of saved me was Eric Lax's book of 30 years of interviews with you. That and Conversations with Wilder are the most entertaining and informative books on filmmaking, I think. And before I approach James Lipton territory, I have to tell you, although we're at different ends of the spectrum, we certainly are. You've been an inspiration to me. We're both comedians, and that right there is a good enough reason to talk. Sincerely, Ed Krasnick. All right, so that's my first video letter, and with that, let's go to our year-end in review wrap-up with none other than Julie Mitchell. Julie Mitchell with the Comedy News. Julie?
Hi, Ed.
How are you?
Oh, I'm dandy. Thank you for asking me.
I just love that you're able to enjoy life and just to laugh, just to really laugh. You have a great laugh.
Thank you. I hear that from other people too.
I'm glad I could join that crowd. All right,
Yeah.
now you, we were talking a little bit earlier in the wings about what a year it's been in comedy.
Yes. Here's what kind of year it's been. It's been a disappointing year in comedy. I didn't see any movie that I thought was funny.
But you bring that news with a sunny disposition and a joy that is not to be missed.
Do you know why? Because it means that we can only get funnier from here. That's how I see it.
That's how I see it too.
But this weekend, you never know. Gulliver's Travels opens.
Right.
And Little Fockers.
There's some kind of connection there. It's
To the
little,
other
it's big.
Fockers,
I
yeah.
guess maybe.
I don't know. I think it's the third one.
What do you think about Gulliver's Travels? I think Jonathan Swift had something different in mind than Jack Black. What do you think?
I really like Jack Black. I'll be interested to see if he pulls it off. The previews don't have me laughing yet, but
Yeah.
I'll still give it a chance because I'm not going to go see a drama during the holidays.
You wouldn't?
No.
You would never go see like Raging Bull or The Hours or something?
I don't even know what those are.
Neither do I. Strike It. Strike It from the record. That's something we can do here on This Weekend
I like
Comedy.
that.
Strike It.
But I was reading in Entertainment Weekly. They have stars write my year in review in 100 words or less.
Yes.
So I've written about my year on This Week in Comedy in 100 words or less.
That's fantastic. It's an essay almost.
Yeah. Yep.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, Julie Mitchell, her year on This Week in Comedy, the essay.
Here we go. I hope I get an A. How can I possibly describe my year on This Week in Comedy in 100 words or less? I did This Week in Comedy as one word because if you type it in on your computer, that's what it is. So technically, I just put that as one word. Especially now that I wasted 14 words in the above sentence and now 13 more with this one. Haha. That was a little joke.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wrote in haha, and that's 2 words. Well, this year was pretty cool, I guess. I met Ed. He pretty much makes me laugh until I get cramps like some women get monthly if they still have their uterus. I didn't like Vicky, but now I do, even though she is still technically considered a woman. My favorite guests were ones who told me I did a good job or implied their approval with eyes.
Well, there's nobody like you. You are an original, and you are a delight. And, you know, Jews never use that word. So you are a delight.
I didn't know that. You're the only Jew I know.
Well, you can think of me as a happy-go-lucky Jew.
Okay, thanks.
Coming
Ed?
out in the spring. No, you've been so great. I really appreciate having you here, and we have lots of new things coming up in the coming year. You know that.
Are you firing me?
You're done here. No. Of course, we have lots of new exciting things, Julie. New segments, new things. You're here. You're here the whole time.
I'll still be here?
Of course.
That was not funny. That was the only not funny thing you've ever said.
I think I like nervous laughter even better. No,
Yeah.
I don't. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Julie Mitchell. Look for her in January on
House. The next new episode, I think it's the 10th.
the next new episode of House, guest starring Julie Mitchell. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Ed.
Loved having you here.
Thanks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at now, Vicki. We have something now. We have something that you were gonna set up.
We do, yeah. I just want to roll a clip. First of all, I'm glad you like me now.
No problem.
I like you too.
Thanks, Vicky.
It's nice to have.
Yeah, what
wrap
we
up
have going on here, we have Toby Huss on tonight.
I know,
So I'm
and-
really excited.
And I know you're an enormous. I mean, I'm an enormous fan, but I know you're an enormous fan. You followed his career for a long time.
And we have lots of great clips coming up.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to play one that I love because I also love Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes.
And Toby was on the show, so I just want to kind of set this up because he delivers maybe my favorite line ever in the show. I'm not going to reveal it.
On Curb.
Yes, on Curb, which is like really hard, you know, to reach the top because they're all hilarious. But the premise is Larry David has a limo driver.
Right.
He's going to Ted Danson's birthday party.
Right.
As usual, Larry feels awkward about making people do their jobs, things he shouldn't feel awkward about. So he gets the idea to invite this limo driver into the party just to let him hang out
Right.
before he has to get driven home. They're opening up gifts. Ted Danson's about to open up Larry's. So just keep in mind that limo driver's floating around the party. Here is the clip featuring Toby Huss from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I'm not sure.
What is that? Oh, that's mine! Hey!
This is the one you're
That's
talking
it, yeah!
Mondo. Mondo Freaks.
Mondo Freaks. Leaf through it. Huh? Are you loving that?
Well, thank you, Larry. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's a great coffee table book. Oh, yeah. Wait.
Mondo
I want
Freaks.
to show it to Jeff, okay? Yeah. Thanks.
All right, what do we got next here? I'll be right back.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's 3 penises!
It's like a joint?
Sorry. Don't freak out.
What do we got here?
You all right, buddy? Happy birthday, Becker.
That is the greatest line
I
I've heard
think
on
that's
that show.
hilarious. I
Happy
love
birthday,
that.
Becker. My
The first
God.
time I saw that, I died.
Oh,
I
that
died.
is tremendous.
Because I'd be thinking it if I was him.
I'm sure Ted liked it. We'll find out what happened on that set. That's great. That's fantastic.
Now we're going to go into a few more clips.
We
before
have
get
some of the
Toby on.
highlight. Yeah, we have a lot of clips here because Toby is such a great actor and has such a broad range of what he does. You saw at the top, you saw Rudy Cassone, but this is these are some of the other characters that he does. Take a look at these clips, and then when we come back,
Toby Huss.
Toby Huss. Take a look.
Go.
Every morning when we go out to face the 1,440 minutes that make up our day, it's nice to know that Artie, the strongest man in the world, is out there, somewhere, looking after us.
Nickelodeon presents The Adventures of Pete and Pete, starring Pete, Pete's brother Pete, and me, Ellen. Today's adventure...
Artie, the strongest man! Hello!
Howdy, Con.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Well, if you guys are here, who's guarding trash cans in alley?
Could I put up one of my posters in your window?
Get out before I three-hole punch your face. Why you keep watching me, you pervert? Somebody get the manager.
Make love to me.
No.
Nobody beats the Wiz is slashing prices on our entire stock.
Nobody beats me because I'm the Wiz. Yes, I'm the Wiz. I'm the Wiz.
That is the guy.
Elaine's in love with the Wiz guy?
No, she thinks she's in love with him, but she's just remembering this old commercial.
Yeah.
It's hysterical. Oh, look at that. Wow, we're up. Hey, guys. Look at that, behind the scenes. It's like a DVD show, isn't it? Okay, well, welcome back to This Week in Comedy. This gentleman, I'm so delighted to have him here because for, I'd say, longer than 10 years, his name comes up pretty much every day with mutual friends. And they always say, Toby Huss this and Toby Huss that. I'm a fan. I've seen the work, but I haven't met the man, so now I'm going to meet the man. Toby Huss.
Nice to meet you, Pally.
Nice to see you. A pleasure to have you.
I was hanging out with some of those nuts that you know at Kozlowski's place the other night. Yeah?
There's nothing like the Fake Gallery. The Fake Gallery, we're going to do a tribute to the Fake Gallery. We're going to have everybody come on because it's such a great place.
Have you ever had Paul on in his big chipmunk suit?
I don't think I have.
You got to get the chipmunk suit. You got to get the whole thing because it's like a chipmunk. It's a big-bellied chipmunk with jodhpurs, kind of. It's got very thick thighs, and he stands. He's got the best. His beardy face is very good for chipmunk work.
Nobody can pull off a chipmunk like Paul Kozlowski. And the other thing is, he had a character called the Character King. I don't know if you ever saw Character King, but it's some kind of a weird, like a big, like Yosemite Sam type get-up or something.
Oh, it's big.
Yeah.
He'll go big.
Character King. Paul pulled me out. Paul saved my life in Agunquit, Maine. We were doing stand-up at a place called the Crow's Nest, and they hated me. They wanted to kill me. And Paul grabbed the mic from me and took the stage and took over the show.
Oh, nice.
Because I was going to be killed, and then he drove me back to Boston. And that's one of the 500 nights that I quit.
Really, that was it?
And here we are.
Had it?
And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are in Spain. Now, we were talking out there. I got to ask you, I mean, some of the work that you do, like I look at Rudy Cassone, and I look at Artie, the world's strongest man. I look at work like that. It's inspired by another time. It's inspired by something else.
Yeah, I think so.
How did all that occur? Like, what kind of kid were you growing up that you somewhere along the line you picked up this style? Of things that had come before you.
I think it was, I grew up in Iowa, and we used to watch just whatever. There were 3 channels, and you'd watch whatever one you had, but there was some weird programming out of Des Moines and Ames. And when we were young, guys would read the Farm Report, like old farmers, and it was just an old guy who not only did he not want to be on camera, he wasn't sure what they did, but he would
how they worked?
Just talk in the camera about December beans, and December beans are up 4 3/4. Corn is down 2. And it'd go on you'd watch it like for 10 minutes, and you'd watch this guy, what's happening here? And I remember as a kid thinking something was really amiss, but something was delightful at the same time. It was really entertaining.
Delightfully human.
Yeah.
Something that has gone out of the media. So if you put it back in now, it's going to be very interesting.
I think so. I mean that's I sort of don't watch a lot of stuff anymore, but the stuff that I watch kind of more documentaries and stuff. But I like regular things, and I like just a guy talking about machinery. That's just fantastically entertaining.
Fascinating.
And if you've ever worked with flanges, then you know what I'm talking about. And I could watch that guy forever.
Yeah.
Flange guy.
The flange guy.
How
long have you been at the plant as the flange guy? How long does the flange guy go down there? No, I mean, really, it's amazing. Now, and then And then there's this whole other thing, which is this lounge world.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a whole other thing from another time. How did you, I mean, tell us about the Rudy Cassone show, who's involved in it, how you put them all together, how you run it, because that I don't understand at all.
Yeah.
And then how you plan something out like that. How do you do it? And really how it developed, because you're a guy, you did those MTV promos.
Yeah.
Which were amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, to a T. Your vocal quality is Sinatra. It's Sinatra talking.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
So
we must have the same sort of cavity, the same sort of brain, head cavity, the same size or something.
Easily his son.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
But probably happen.
Not as talented as Frank Jr.
Oh my God.
However,
isn't that amazing? Can you imagine that?
Yeah. You know the old story about him, that there was he would do Frank. It was later on in his career, and Frank Jr. was running the orchestra. He was leading the orchestra, and Sinatra would go, "Now there's a great kid here who's going to come up and he's going to do a song, going to do a tune for everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank Jr." And he'd come up and he'd like sing Chicago or something like that.
Sure, sure.
And the crowd would go, "Yay, Frank was there." And then Sinatra, the old man, would go, "Now let me show you how it's really done."
Oh
and he'd sing the same song. He's punching his son in the balls.
I don't even know. That's like worse than the Great Santini. That's amazing. Now but the thing is, now that I'm talking to you and I'm looking, you are the son that he should have had.
Yeah,
you should have been. This is the guy who he wanted to have as his son.
That's the premise of the show. Is I'm Sinatra's bastard son.
Yeah.
And well, it's not that I am. It's that there's a lot of stories and a lot of rumors. I've never said I was. And I've never said I wasn't.
Right.
I cannot confirm nor deny. I cannot deny those rumors of
but that's
whether it is true or not to be true.
Oh my God.
So, but it started me doing this character, and I liked it. I did it in New York, and a little bit. And I worked with this guy James Urbaniak. He was doing a big, this big soap opera at this theater where it was these 3 storylines that went on, and it was great. It was just a big giant room. It was in the late 80s and early 90s, mid-90s, and I think a bunch of Yale guys were doing it. So there was the Abraham Lincoln storyline and the Elvis Presley storyline and the Charlie Manson storyline. And I appeared in doing Sinatra in the Manson and the Elvis Presley storyline, and they were thinking about, now how do we get him in the Abe Lincoln storyline? And they couldn't really, so there was an acid flashback or something, but James was in that and he was doing stuff, and it was really fun. So I thought, man, boy, I want to do this at some point, and I got to work with James. I knew that. I got to do something with James.
Sure, sure.
So when I started doing the show, really putting it together about 3 years ago, so James, and then my old buddy Mark Feit, who's a guy that
so talented.
known
Love
since
Mark.
83 or something like that.
Love
We're old
him.
buddies. He's a guy from Iowa too. So
Sure.
So I started picking all these people that I liked, and we all sort of seem to be the people that if you go see a show, you could like the show, but there's always that one guy you go, that guy's a real weirdo. I don't know what his deal is.
Yeah.
So I picked all those people and said, let's get all the weirdos together,
right,
and put them in one show. So Pat Healy's in it, who does this lovely bird act.
But they all kind of have, they're all characters. They all have a talent.
Yeah.
But it's not the talent that you're interested in.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's sort of the misuse of that talent, maybe.
they are misusing their talent.
You know, it's this person that can do this thing, and they just go off and do this other thing. You're watching. I think it's more fun to watch something decompose. You know, when I was a kid, I remember. This is the literal analogy of that, but I used to deliver the Des Moines Register paper out, the Des Moines Register, and I had a paper out. And one summer, it was like in August. It was very hot, and there was a squirrel that had been killed. It was going to run over or something. And I watched it over the course of like 6 or 7 days. I remember when I was a kid, just decomposing, laying there, just getting eaten up by different bugs and things, and it just kept going by. Just would stop and consider that squirrel. Mm-hmm. And how that was sort of fascinating, just watching that thing become an unsquirrel. So I think that was more interesting to me. So it's nice to have a guy who claims to be a tap dancer and to watch him never tap and never do that, and to watch him become an unperformer, and to watch these horrible currents in him show up, his pettiness and his malice and his anger and all this shit. That's what I find interesting, and that's what I find interesting in the character.
But he could be an icon, though. But he approaches an icon level.
Yeah.
That guy. is an icon.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating to me, the icon that you peek behind the curtain and it's
Yeah.
like, wow, there's a really talented guy, probably from an amazing lineage.
Yeah.
Like very close to Elvis, very close to Sinatra. Close.
But broken.
But really broken.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of guys that are sort of like that, that are these sort of broken people. I don't know. I think the broken people are more interesting than the people who are hiding their brokenness a lot better than most people.
Right, just hiding it.
But then there's too broken. Because there's some people I can't have in the show because they're just fucking crazy.
Right.
You know, it's like, are you going to be there at 8? Definitely. What? You're not going to be. It's 9 now. Yeah, I am there. Ah, fuck. Okay. Well, this is just too much.
I love that. You can't handle those people.
I got a text from one of the dancers at like 5 to 8. Locked myself out of the house. I'm going to break in the window.
Yeah.
Great. Fantastic. Be there when I can. Good for you.
But that's almost the show too. You almost would build that into a show. And you know the people you talk about broken. Now there's a whole school of performers who their act was about being broken or about the act not working.
Yeah.
Carl Ballantine.
Yeah,
Amazing Ballantine.
Yeah.
Stan Can was a guy on the Mike Douglas show.
Mm-hmm.
This guy would come on and the products didn't work.
Yeah.
But he'd go like they were working, and oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to do that.
Yeah, we always liked Foster Brooks when I was a kid.
Oh.
When he came on Carson, I would call my brother down and we'd watch him. It was just the most delicious thing in the world watching Foster Brooks. And it's funny if you watch some of the old Dean Martin clips on YouTube or something. It's still pretty great, but it's just how this thing goes to the toilet. And you can't have a whole show go to the toilet. There has to be some redemption. There has to be something. Like I have to be able to sing. The band has to be good.
Right.
Otherwise. Well, what is the point of this? Then it's all shit? I'm just watching turds?
It's not all shit.
I'm not going to watch turds.
Right.
Who wants to watch turds?
Musical Turds.
Yeah.
Which is a new show on MTV.
Yeah.
No, but so you come out now. Did you sing? Were you a singer earlier in your work?
Not really. You know, I didn't do that much, and I started sort of. I was working at this natural gas compression station in Texas.
See, right there, that's enough for me right there.
Yeah.
I don't even really need to hear more about that.
It's the year that Public Greenwich Village came out, which was whatever, it was 83 or 4 or something. I was down there working for summer. There's a big natural gas pipeline that goes from southern Texas all the way to Florida. So there are these giant compression stations all the way. There was, I don't even know it's still there.
Wow.
But I was working there and I had this little, my uncle gave me this car and I was, driving around it. And I'd drive to work and back and went to the Walmart and got Sinatra's Greatest Hits Volume 2 that had The Summer Wind on it, which was in the Public Greenwich Village. I went, oh. And I started singing. I said, boy, I almost kind of sound like that guy. And that's when I was in my 20s, I hadn't.
But before then, people didn't come up to you in high school and say, you sound exactly like Frank Sinatra.
No, not at all.
This never happened.
No. My father was a singer, though. But just a local guy. He had a show called Jerry Sings at the University of Northern Iowa. And he would do it like every Saturday morning from 10 until 11, he would sing songs.
What would he sing?
He'd just sing standard stuff. He'd sing Danny Boy, and he'd sing little wonderful songs, hits of the day.
And as a kid, you go watch this?
And when I was a kid, one of the great memories of my dad was in the 70s sometime. He taught chemistry in our high school in Marshalltown, Iowa. And it was him in this fantastically giant polyester suit, just a big, loud monster thing. And he used to sing, I remember him singing Light My Fire. And it was kind of Sinatra-esque, but he was singing it, and the jazz band was playing, and the Homecoming King and Queen were coming down, and I was there. They brought us in when I was a kid, and I was maybe 10 or 8 or something watching Dad sing, and I remember him, Well,
there was a time...
Come on, baby, light my fire. And he was doing it. It was very sweet. It was very nice.
You liked it?
I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was pretty great. And maybe I never thought about it, but that was, he seemed very happy then. It seemed to me to be a very happy thing to do. Then he used to sing Girl of My Dreams, which he called Gorilla My Dreams.
Put a little hot sauce on that one.
Yes, see.
That's fantastic.
Si, senor.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so he did a little singing.
You know what's funny? There was a time in our culture when rock and roll crossed over to the standards.
Yeah.
And what happened was all these people were covering songs like Light My Fire, but doing it in a standard fashion, which is the only way to do it. I mean, and
unironically, too, by the way.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
they were just
the time to hesitate is through.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're going to open for the Viva Variety guys, the state guys, Tom, at the San Francisco Sketch Fest. They want us to come up and just sing. So we're working on, I wanted to do a cover because Jerry Brown's back in.
That's right.
As the governor of California.
Sure.
What's wrong with doing the Dead Kennedys California Uber Alice? What's wrong with that? I'm Governor Jerry Brown. My aura smiles and never frowns. Soon I will be president. Oh, so we got to swing that one up a little bit, don't we?
Swing it up at Sketch
Yeah,
Fest.
we're going to swing it up and make it dirty at the end. And yeah, it sounded good. We rehearsed a couple of times.
That's
so
fantastic.
That sounds good.
That's going to be great. Have you been up there before? You've done
I've not been to Sketch Fest before.
Boy, all I hear is like great. I hear how amazing it is. I haven't been up there, but
that's what they say.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Sketchfest.
fun to do. Yeah.
So all of these people come in. They do this stuff.
Yeah.
Now, have you? I'm sure you have. Is there an actual like run of this Rudy Cassone? Have you done it as like a regular running show week after week? But I mean like
month after month,
like Broadway, off Broadway.
Oh no, but we have
Vegas.
Well, that's one of the things I'm talking to a promoter now who does this rockabilly weekend thing and the big rockabilly show in Vegas every year.
Yeah.
And he's saying he can get me to the Orleans.
If
I'm not sure where it is.
I think it's in New Orleans. No, it is over there. I've seen New Orleans. It's a wonderful. Now, if you, but I
that
mean,
would be the place for
You're booked in.
That would be great.
Now, would that be okay with you? You're booked in.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's 7 nights a week now.
No, not forever. No. Go there and do
3 months.
Do a month. Do a month.
A month.
Do a couple weeks. I got
You have a
a
family.
kid I want to
You have
raise.
a family.
Yeah.
11-year-old.
11-year-old. Yeah.
Daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you teaching her in terms of? Does she see the characters and the singing and what is she?
You never know what they pick up, but we were looking at. I had a birthday a couple weeks ago, and I said, "Well, I think I want to get a sweater." So, okay, let's go. Let's grab it from the truck. Went down to somewhere we're looking at. We go over to a Gap. They have a nice sweater now and again for a fella. Walked out of there and
can get a sweater?
I said, just all I want is a goddamn sweater. And I said to the kid, God damn it, kid. I want a fucking sweater. I said, look, all I want is a sweater. So we go to the Banana Republic and there's a nice green sweater there. I said, look, that's a nice green sweater. She goes, what's wrong with that? I'm not too happy. God, that's a nice sweater. That's a great sweater. I could put on that sweater, wear it around my friends. She went, if you put on that sweater, you wouldn't have any friends. She's 11.
So she's picking it up.
I think so.
Yeah.
I hope she picks up the good stuff, but you never know when you're.
Well,
you know.
She knows what's funny.
Maybe she's a silly kid.
Yeah, she knows what's funny. Well, yeah. What would you? This is a weird question, but what would you like to see? What should she see you? What would you be proudest to show her as a performer? What does she look at?
Yeah, I like Rescue Dawn and Carnival. I like the serious stuff.
Yeah.
I think the comedy stuff is fun. Well, she's seen The Adventures of Pete and Pete, which is a great,
she
little show.
Loves that.
Yeah, it's a silly, weird, great show.
Fabulous
great show for kids.
And Artie, she sees that, and her response to Artie is what?
It's a strange thing because you, I think it's just discombobulating. You know, when she was young, it was, okay.
Well, she's growing up in a different time. She's growing up in a. This is what we talked about out there, and it's really true. A lot of this, it's a time thing. The characters are from a time when people took their time.
Yeah.
This is not a time when people take their time in media. Yeah. So it's just fascinating, like we say, like looking at broken people and looking at the delightfully human things to happen. Do we have a clip? I think we do. We have a clip out there of Artie. Did we show Artie already?
I think you showed a little.
All right.
Artie,
Well, I want to take a look at. Well, wait a minute. Let's talk about Reno 911 too, because that's more contemporary now. When you do that show. What kind of a mindset do you have to be in to do Reno 911? I mean, do they welcome you with open arms? It's very easy.
They're really great. You know, when we did Tom and Ben are pretty great. Tom Lennon and Ben Garant, and Kerry Kenny, who do that show. They would call up at the beginning. When they first started doing it, they said, "Hey, we want you to do a character in this thing we're doing, this Reno 911 thing." Oh, all right. And they said, why don't you come up with a kind of an idea of a character you want to do that would exist in this sort of area, and then think of it, and then we'll call you back, and we'll tell you what character we came up with. So I said, okay. So I thought, what about a strung out kind of crystal meth smoking, white trash dude, wears a white tank top, but is really a busted, just addicted cocksucker, and just a horrible little sad redneck. And yeah, with a bandana, white tank top, blue jeans, and just dirty. Okay, great. So they called back a while later, and we're talking about it. And they said, let us tell you what we came up with. I said, oh yeah, okay. They said, what about like a white trash, crystal meth, smoking dude with like a white tank top? I went, you're fucking kidding. Yeah. That's exactly what. So we were on the same page about it. And then whenever I showed up, the last couple seasons, they said, look, we're not going to write anything for you. Just call here's the prop guy's number. So call him and say what you want. And then we'll come in, and then don't even tell us, and we'll just encounter you that day. So the last season I called him up and I said, talking to the prop guy, yeah, can I get a boat? Can we get a boat and just stick it in the yard? And then can we spray paint the SS "Fuck You Brenda" on it? And they went, yeah, sure, okay. I went, really? And can I get a bicycle and a Nazi helmet? They went, yeah, sure. I said, what about a shotgun with a bunch of gumballs in it? They said, yeah, okay, yeah, all right.
Happiest day of their lives.
It was fantastic. So they showed up. All right, we did that. Let's do another one. And then it was me with a shotgun in my mouth, and they pulled up. I don't think they could use that one because it was a little too much kooky for MTV. But it was me with a big shotgun holding it in my mouth, and they came up and they put their guns. Said, what are you doing? And I said, this is my gum gun. This is where I keep my gum. And I had gumballs in it.
That's fantastic. Let's take a look. This is Toby from Reno 911.
This is the clip with the boat.
This is the boat clip?
Yeah.
Oh, is this
Big Mac? Okay. Let's take a look at the.
Hey, bud. Oh, for poop's sake. Hey, Mike. Yeah? Mike.
What?
Don't huff on the rag, Mike. Don't huff the bag.
Bag down.
Don't go huffing on the bag. Hey, Mike.
Who?
Eyeballs. Guess who called?
The whore.
Yeah. Well, let's not call her that, Mike.
That's all.
Okay, she lives 50 yards away, Mike.
We're gonna need you to clean this up, Mike.
We're gonna need to clean up the boat, for real.
Oh, can you guys mind getting me some kerosene? That's good. When you get on that no-buy kerosene list at the depot.
Yep.
How the hell did you get on the no-buy list? Yeah.
How do you think?
Because I got a lot of enemies. One of them is Derek at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Have you met him?
Yeah.
He's a big fat bastard.
He's pretty heavy.
Hey, Mike, what's going on? Shove it, Derek. Shove it.
He's also a decent guy trying to do his job and trying to keep you from huffing your brain away.
Mike, can we go back to that conversation you were just having with Derek? Hey, Big Mike. What's going on?
What's going on?
And you come back with...
Hey, Derek, shove it.
That's your bon mot that you bounce back at
And
him.
you wondered why you're on the no-buy kerosene list.
He ain't no big wheel done there.
Well, he's the assistant manager.
Use your words.
Don't
you huff. Don't you huff it up.
You want to taste? No, wait. You gotta say.
Don't you huff.
What if you asked me like a man who's captain of his boat? If you go to maritime law,
Are you playing maritime law now?
Look, you don't need water.
Permission to come aboard, Captain Mike.
Permission denied. So shove it.
Well, you got your wish.
Yeah, that was the boat.
You got your wish.
Funny, yeah.
That is insane.
And then for the movie, when they did the Reno 911 movie, they said the same thing. They said, we're shooting in Miami, but call up props and tell them what you want. You're going to be running a hotel. I went, okay, and talk to the costume lady. So I called the costume lady and said, what about some lime green slacks and a gentleman's toupee and a big polyester shirt? And she went, yeah, okay.
Oh my God!
So I showed up, and they didn't want to see me before I did it. They're pretty great to work with, those guys.
Oh, that's amazing!
Yeah,
it's
they're
so
the
fresh.
best. They're really great.
Yeah, talk about
they're
organic.
They're really smart about it too, and they're because the good guys are always the more generous guys. They're really generous with everybody in the cast and everybody else that worked on that show. They were really great.
Anybody who's good, like even going back to Jack Benny, it's like, if you want to have a career, you make other people look good.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
You make other people.
Which is weird in the Cassone show, because I find myself sometimes being the straight man, right?
You really abuse some of the people sometimes, and that really makes it hilarious. Like Laura Silverman, when she was doing haikus.
Oh my God!
Oh
she's
my
great.
God!
She's
You're just ripping into her. So funny.
Very talented.
But it's sort of it's a nice place to be, where you can sort of step back, and it's it's a variety show in a sense where people come on and they do their bits, and you can just sit back and set them up and watch it. It's really fun. Yeah, and I have my own stuff that I do.
But you built this community, this little community, and you can perform in it, and you can do a range of things. You're hosting it.
Yeah, we can do anything we want. Basically, we worked it where we can do anything we want.
I'm going to get I got to get, because you said drama. That you would want your daughter to see more of the dramatics of the Rescue Dawn. You worked with Werner Herzog before.
Yeah, fair enough.
I met him somewhere where he told a gentleman at a party that if he didn't get to do the film that he was proposing to do, he would eat his hat.
Yeah,
he promised that he would eat a hat.
There's a movie of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or eating a shoe. He eats a shoe.
He eats a shoe. He likes to eat like inedible objects and then pass.
He does stuff.
But what was your relationship with him in the work? How did he direct you? And
he was the greatest. It was he was really wonderful. The first day we shot, we were in Thailand at the shipyard. This used to be an American shipyard in Sarahip, this little town on the sort of the eastern side, the eastern leg of Thailand that goes down around the bay. And we were shooting on this battleship, and there were maybe 300 extras, these guys that they got. And Werner, after shooting this scene in the battle, and he was there as the end of the movie when Christian Bale comes down in the helicopter, we rescue him, and he's there, and there's 300 guys all cheering. And Werner was there with his camera in the middle of these guys, and he fell down a couple times. And he had a camera, the cinematographer had a camera, Werner had one too, and he was using it, and he fell down a couple times and was still shooting, and at the end of the day, he stood at the end of the gangplank and shook every guy's hand. Thank you for being in my movie. Thank you very much. It was great. Thank you. 300 times, the guys just came by.
Unbelievable.
And it was the first, that was maybe the second day or something. The first day we were going to shoot, we were at this little hotel, and right on the beach that used to be a military hotel in the 60s. But it was right on the beach. It was just gorgeous, and it was still pretty run down and moldy. But really, it was a great little joint. It was completely isolated. It was fantastic. At the end of a runway, they don't use anymore. And it was the first day of shooting, and we had the call sheets, and Werner was running around, and it was nice. And I look at Werner. He's sitting alone, just sort of sitting there like this, and he's looking. He's just sitting there by himself, and he looks a little pissed, and I'm just watching him about 10 feet away, and I just hear him muttering, so I get closer, and he's muttering, "Butterfingers, Butterfingers, I implored them, Butterfingers, I implored them, Butterfingers." So Werner was going crazy. Turns out, when I asked him, I said, "Hey, what's the deal with the Butterfingers?" In the kit that you had, your crash kit, if your plane crashed, you had this little kit with you, and they would put Butterfingers in there instead of like a Snickers, because Butterfingers didn't have as much milk chocolate and didn't melt as fast in the tropics. So it was a real thing. He wasn't going crazy.
Right.
He was going, "I fucking told you guys Butterfingers, and then you gave me Snickers or something."
But people would assign him crazy.
On the first day of shooting, to see Herzog sitting alone on a little bench with the ocean behind him going, "Butterfingers, I implored them, Butterfingers." You go, well, that's it. He's gone now.
He's a brilliant man who's insane.
He's a brilliant guy, yeah.
No, but
he's not insane.
He's not insane.
That's the thing.
He's not at all. He's an artist.
Well,
he's
an
a
artist.
filmmaker.
He's an artist, and he's an artist before anything else.
And a great actor.
He's a really
There was a
actor
thing,
too, isn't he?
Zach Penn directed something, and it was like a mockumentary. I can't remember.
The Loch Ness one?
Yeah. He was amazing.
Yeah, he's really great.
And I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
You said drama, maybe drama versus comedy. I mean, of course, you're a performer. You do. Is there any difference for you? Does it matter, really, when you're auditioning, when you're preparing? Is there any difference?
No.
You're doing the same work.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's the same thing. I think I have more of a... I think comedy's more of a shorthand sometimes, and I think I have more of a shorthand with it.
Right.
So you can go, "Oh, okay, that's a thing, and I can pop that in there and do this," and I don't have that with drama. So I think dramatic stuff might be a little more interesting for me, I think.
But you've managed to navigate both. Like if something comes up, you'll do Carnival. How does that occur? How does a Carnival? I mean, the most interesting looking program I've ever seen on maybe on television.
That was great.
Fascinating. What was that experience, and how do you audition for a role in Carnival? Same?
They had it all cast, and then they wrote the Dreyfuss family, my family, into it before they started shooting the series. So they had another audition. Right. before they started shooting the second episode. I think after HBO had picked it up, there was like a year lag.
Right.
And they said, let's do some rewrites with a new family. So I auditioned and got in, and it was great.
And amongst those people, what kind of a community is that in terms on the set of Carnival?
There was there were many great stories from Carnival. One was really hilarious. Michael Anderson, who was the guy that ran the circus, the short fellow, he was there one day, and if you're a short guy, you end up working with elephants now and again. It's just because you're short, you're going to work with elephants now and again. So he was there the same day that this guy, Matthew, is that his name? He's hosting a show right now. Him and Stan Lee, he runs around and sees freaks. He's a super bendy Bendo Jones. He's a contortionist. He ate some pie off his ass, where he flipped over himself and they put some pie in his ass and he ate some pie. And there was a bearded lady and a giant fat lady. And Michael Anderson was going, have you ever seen an elephant eat a pineapple? And it was super hot that day, and it was really, no, I've never seen an elephant. So we had all these extras, all these freaks. It was where there was another carnival that meets our carnival, and we all know the old freaks, and Bree Walker was there, and all the people. So Michael goes, wait, let's see if I can get a pineapple. So Michael grabs a pineapple, and it was just, between takes, and he gets a pineapple, and he goes, come on! And he's got a pineapple, and he's walking over towards the elephant that we had. And it's just this whole band of Fellini-esque sort of people walking behind him, and you're sitting in the back watching it happen. This is pretty wonderful stuff. And he walks in, he gives the pineapple to the elephant, and the elephant eats it in 2 bites with the amount of force that you would use to eat a strawberry. Clomp, clomp, and it's gone. Yay, cheers, and everybody cheers, and they go back to smoking cigarettes.
Day on the set of Carnival.
It was good.
I'm still on the guy who eats pie off his ass. I can't even understand it.
He's a contortionist, and he can move his rib cage, and I guess he can move his heart too, he says.
Boy.
He can flop his heart around.
If you could do that, you probably would never leave the house. You're not watching TV at that point, are you?
Yeah.
I'm eating pie off my ass.
Yeah.
I don't even know who I am anymore.
Yeah.
My heart isn't even in my rib cage. I don't know.
That's what we're going to tell you, the mix of that stuff. So while I'm in Thailand doing the Herzog picture, we went out one night, we go to this bar, and there was Thai box. There was a boxing ring in the middle of this bar in this town, Pattaya. So Pattaya, as we call it. And Pat Healy was there in it, who was in the Cassone show. Oh. So we were there. There's Thai boxing in the middle, and there's all these bars around the side of it. Overlooks the ocean. There's a street, and it's all open on the side, except the back. We walk in, and we're standing there, we're talking, and we're looking around, and there's a guy, a big, fat Dutch guy, 280 pounds, big guy, not too tall, but big, and he's got shorts on, and he's got a bra, and he's got rouge, really badly done rouge, and big lipstick and crazy hair, and in the front of his shorts, he's put seaweed like pubic hair, so it's coming up. And he's standing, he's looking around, and he looks at me, and I go, oh, shit. And 4 feet away, there's Thai boxing guys kicking each other's asses soundly. It's fantastic, and people getting hammered, and just horrible shit going on around. And he looks at me, and he goes, you are the king. You are the king, man. And I went, what? What? And he walks over, and he comes over with his buddies, and he's got a couple buddies with him. And I go, what the fuck does this guy want? And he goes, you're the king. I go, what the fuck are you talking about? He goes, from Seinfeld, man. You're the king. I went, oh, the Wiz? He went, yeah, the Wiz. And he starts doing the walk. So in the middle of Thailand, this guy, dressed like this, recognized me from Seinfeld. It's fantastic.
The power of media. He's got seaweed coming out of his pupik, and you're the king.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I like.
Well,
you are now the king.
Apparently, why he was dressed like that is it was a bachelor party, and I guess there's some Dutch, or I think it was Belgian or Dutch tradition where you humiliate the groom the night before, so they were getting him stinko and humiliating him, and a lot of it's very common to dress them up like a woman.
Very common.
In Thailand.
In Thailand. This is what they do.
That was one of the weirdest.
This is what they do.
That's when the comedy and the drama sort of mixed up there all at once.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so. You know, what is, in terms of a viewer and a fan, what are some of the movies that have changed your life? What are some of the movies that you've seen in your life that you sort of like, they're the go-to movies that you would watch? Are they inspired your work in some way?
Yeah, I like Fellini stuff. It's really wonderful, and sort of spaghetti western stuff is great.
Yeah, yeah.
And
is that what you grew up watching?
No, you know, every day at noon out of Des Moines, they would play. They would have a movie, and on WHO, I think in Des Moines. So if you're homesick, you could watch this hour and a half of a movie. And I remember sitting there with a bottle of Orange Crush, watching a movie, and sometimes I remember seeing the Sand Pebbles when I was a kid.
Jesus,
I'm getting shooken up by that. That was a pretty heavy film to see when you're 8, you know.
Well, that's the other thing. In that time, our parents didn't have this thing where they would like shelter you from like media, because media wasn't as much of a vulturous kind of thing.
He was a friend. He was a friend then.
Yeah, yeah. You could go to the drive-in and see Serpico and Clute with your parents.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
Yeah.
I went to see Serpico. I went to see Clute. My mother took me to a double feature. I was like 11.
I went to go see Le Mans.
Le Mans, Steve McQueen again.
Yeah.
Wow. He was an amazing performer, amazing actor, just incredible.
Yeah.
People, I don't know, anybody who knows film hasn't forgotten about him, but I wish they'd have like a Steve McQueen Film Festival or something.
Well, they probably do all over.
All over the place.
But he was in that Bullet. That's one thing you like about that, where he apparently he cut out a bunch of dialogue, just. Which is sort of gets back to that old media thing of there wasn't. I think there was just as much to say then as there is now, but people just didn't say it as much, and that was very refreshing. People say it very much now, and they're very hydrated now.
Yeah, they're too hydrated.
They're too hydrated.
People
these kids
need to be a little bit more dehydrated.
Yeah. I think maybe if you're a little dehydrated,
Yeah.
you'll shut up for a while. If you're just a little tired and a little dehydrated, I think that's what it was like in the 70s and the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
People they were less hydrated, so they were quieter.
Well, nobody was telling them to drink water every 4 seconds.
Yeah, they were okay.
Yeah.
They all survived.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah.
But you're right about the having to say everything.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I went to see one night. Peter Bogdanovich was screening The Last Picture Show, and it was an anniversary thing.
Yeah.
And he's got Ben Johnson there, and Ben Johnson tells the story where Bogdanovich had to call John Ford, and he said, "Please tell your friend Ben Johnson he's got to be in my movie." Ben Johnson didn't want to do it because it had curse words. He said, "I don't say curse words.
Right.
See, I'm from the Westerns.
Yeah.
We don't use the curse words."
Yeah.
So he said, if you rewrite it and take out all the curse words, maybe. So he took out all the curse words, and he won the Academy Award.
Can do.
Won the Academy Award.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting. And on his deathbed, John Ford is on his deathbed, and Ben Johnson goes to see him, and he hangs around. He's not saying much, and then he's just about to kisses him, hugs him goodbye, and says, "Hey Ben, don't forget to stay real." And then he passes away.
Wow.
It's one of those kind of stories, you know. It's like these guys knew something. They knew some very important, like basic things, and they used them time and time again, and they never deviated from it. Don't forget to stay real.
You know, maybe it was more ignorant, but maybe it was smarter and simpler. Maybe.
Simpler.
You know.
Yeah.
I think it's hard sometimes to watch improv these days because it's a lot of talking. It's a lot of talking. There's a lot of talking.
You got to fill the space up.
Yeah, but there's different ways to fill space up, and there's different ways to fill a physical space up, and there's different ways to fill dialogue up, and there's different ways to fill an interaction between two people up, and one way is with a lot of dialogue.
Right.
You can do that.
Right.
And one way is with not a lot of dialogue. But it seems a lot of people are erring now on the side of just keep fucking talking. Just fucking keep talking.
Well, you have the bombardment of, you know, when people grow up on only media.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys who did television went to, like we said, podcasting, maybe the new television, the beginning of television, maybe. But when those guys came into it, they were stage performers, and the writers were playwrights. They grew up in theater.
And they grew up on agriculture.
And on agriculture, the land.
They knew a lot of people who grew shit.
Period.
They knew a lot of people who grew shit.
If you can't grow anything.
How's the stuff going that you're growing? Well, pretty good. Would you like to see it? Well, sure I would. Well, let's walk out there. We don't got to talk. Let's just go look at it.
Here it is.
There's not many people know people who grow things. I mean, grow things for a living. Not have a fucking garden in your backyard in Echo Park. We'll grow something for a living besides pot.
Besides pot.
A crop.
A crop.
A cash crop.
Cash crop.
Besides
pot. You come from that area, that place, right?
Yeah.
That's what you grew up watching. And that obviously influenced the kind of performer that you are, the kind of improv that you do.
I think so, and I think like the Reno 911 stuff is a direct, result of growing up in Iowa. Like those guys are pretty common. You see those guys around a lot. You see them in, we had a little trailer court in our hometown that had some pretty fantastic people, including one of the midgets from the midget movie, where they all sing and dance.
Oh, not
Wizard of Oz?
Wizard of Oz, midget movie.
The midget movie, yeah. That Wizard of Oz movie.
He did the call for Philip Morris, that dude.
Oh, yeah, sure.
He lived in a trailer
That guy was
court.
famous.
And there was a bunch of crazy people that lived there, including rednecks, smoking crack and, drinking Lysol and doing their thing. So you meet those people now and again, you think, well, that's kind of an aberration of a human. I like that guy.
I like that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to know a little bit more, maybe.
He's huffing Lysol. That's interesting. Really?
What's that like? Yeah.
It just makes you hangry. It doesn't even get you high.
Yeah. Well,
it makes you sweaty. It just hurts.
Now that you mention it, I might try it tonight. I might try it later. With a chaser.
We could go, yeah.
Why don't we try it and just see
what happens? With a chaser
of
bleach.
Let's just clean our insides for a few hours. It's the end of the year.
Let's get a couple cans of Old English and a paper bag. spray that in there.
And just see what happens. See, you kids don't understand this.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at a clip. This is a show that you did probably not so long ago. This is
that thing.
This is
I haven't
Adult
seen that
Swim,
thing
right?
Yet.
This is you haven't seen it.
No.
Well, let's watch it.
It's awesome.
Children's Hospital, Toby Huss. Take a look.
I just gave you a shot of this new drug, penicillin, that should calm you down. Or not. We don't know. It might grow hair.
Listen to me. I'm not crazy. I'm from the future. And we don't have much time. Together, we can save millions of lives. Look, this proves it. A cell phone from the future.
Oh, it just vibrated.
Oh no. That means I'm out of time. I have an appointment with the future.
Well, I'm off to buy a hot dog in the late edition for a nickel.
Fascinating and hysterical. What's that show? I mean, that show seems to be pretty amazing, pretty interesting.
There's funny people in Iowa too.
My God.
Yeah, they're
what
good.
What did they have you do for that? Like, what was the process of getting that part? How did they just say come over?
Yeah, I think it was Rob that said, "Hey, come do a little thing." And it was,
that's when you're good. You can have people say come over.
Well, it was very sweet of him. It was a nice little thing.
Yeah.
It was just fun. Drive over there and do your thing and have some apples and some coffee and drive home. It's nice.
You get some interesting, because you're so talented. But I love the thing about being able to call the prop department. That's insane.
Well, that was all that was all Tom and Ben, those guys, saying, "Look, this is how we want to do it."
And when you get on that set, the Children's Hospital set, are they just hey, great to see you, we love you, let's go try a couple things and see how it works out?
Yeah, it's kind of that way. I think we stayed pretty much with the script. There's a couple little lines here and there, but if you would have had, if you would have gone off for 20 minutes, they probably would have kept the cameras rolling and then said, "Hey, well, let's try it again without the 20 minutes of stuff, and then just see where we are."
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah. But they understand that.
If I wanted to get really talky, in the improv way that they do.
Boy, but you have to trust yourself, and you have to know what it's like not to talk and be okay with it on a stage in front of people or in front of a camera.
Well, that's the
How
one
would
thing
you
with
do
the
that?
Cassone show that I wanted to do was make it that I wanted to work that in, just the pauses, because you never see that, and you never see somebody pausing in a big show of just a guy standing on stage going, I'm going to beat your fucking face in. And then just stops and listens, and just a guy groaning or something. It doesn't happen very often, and I always like that. I thought it was refreshing because there's enough action and the big giant things. I mean, it's nice to, instead of going up and keeping that, plateau, that
well,
thing.
It's a pleasure to watch you act. It's a pleasure to watch you act on camera, because you, as an audience member, as a viewer, you get to go in as opposed to them, the performer, smashing you with words.
Yeah.
You get to say, wow, I wonder, that guy's kind of interesting. I wonder what's going on with him beneath the surface that he's not telling me about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, well, usually when you're on stage, there's not a lot of time to develop that, Yeah. You usually with performance stuff, and because I did, performance art in New York and did those sorts of things, and there's usually you got to come out with your thing pretty quick, unless you're going the opposite way for a reason. So it's nice to have the luxury to be able to sort of Develop it slowly.
You got both.
You know,
you got both ends. Vicky has some comments, I think.
Yeah, some viewer
viewers?
comments. First of all, there is one question. It's a Cassone question.
Yeah.
How can that guy Gary be so awesome, and when will he get his own show?
Huh.
Signed, Gary.
Huh. Good old Gary.
That's from Mark Fight,
He's
who
gone.
is awesome.
He's gone.
There's a lot of...
no, he's fucking fired.
Yeah, you're done.
I don't know.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Done. Doesn't matter. History doesn't mean a thing with this.
There's a lot of Carnival fans.
There's,
a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ed Sedade wrote in that he loves the last line of you trying to console your daughter in the show, and that he said it was heartbreaking.
Oh.
You were wonderful.
Well,
and
that's
just so you
sweet.
know, every time like we've come out to your shows, every time my mom in New Jersey bothers me to ask you about Carnival. And she's like, oh, you're going to the show? Oh, Tor, could you ask him about Carnival? That show was so great. And I'm like, I can't, like, there's no segue there. I can't do that. But
What about that show?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
yeah, exactly. Like
That was a
ask
big
him
show.
what exactly. What do you want me to say
I just like
here?
that it's Carnival.
Carnival.
That's my
What
favorite.
happened in that Carnival?
Carnival. That's my favorite.
You know
Little
when them
Bob Hopish.
miners came in and raped that daughter of yours and killed her and strung her up?
What happened?
Now, were they ghost miners? Or they real miners? They're real miners? Oh, fuck, I don't understand.
And it would be hysterical as like a question and answer sketch where the people in the audience are almost more extreme than the Carnival, than the play. You see all the characters out there on the
You
stage.
should have seen the guys. They had 4 or 5 guys who were real carnival guys who were there. And they were telling us, and they would travel with Barnum and Ben, a bunch of other circuses, and they were telling us the stories. And there was this one guy, this wonderful skinny dude named Hippie. And Hippie was he looked like 106 years old, and he was probably 52. But he was a skinny guy, and he was hanging out. And they would stay there all night because it was their equipment that we used, the big Ferris wheels and a lot of the tents and stuff.
Jeez.
So one night we were sitting there, smoking a cig and hanging out with Hippie, and they had a little trailer where he lived, and he said, he was talking, he said, you ever get pretty good with that cane? And I said, oh, thanks, I'm doing some cane twirling and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty good. You want to see the rifle I'm making? So how could I turn that down? Yeah, let's go.
Let's see it.
So I went into his little tiny trailer. We walked in, and he goes, hey, that's the rifle I'm making. He was making a rifle. He had a kit. You can carve the rifle stock, and he was making a rifle. And he showed it to me, and he had a rifle.
Passing the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a cobbler, a rifle maker.
A rifleman.
Some people cobble.
Rifleman, if you will.
Yeah, rifleman. A Chuck Connors type of guy. That's fantastic.
You're making a rifle.
I'm making a rifle in my
And then
trailer.
I forget the main guy's name, but he was, when we had the Ferris wheel going, he told a couple scalping stories. You know the girls back in the 70s with their long hair when they would ride the Ferris wheel and it would get caught up and the Ferris wheel went and their heads would go back and then they would get scalped? Yeah, happened.
I love when he says, you know. Yeah, I know all of them. Yeah, I knew that. That was on the front page of my hometown paper.
The
right?
scalping.
The
carnival scalping.
Yeah, that's why I don't go anymore. That's why I have this hair. I could have now. I got to tell you, we're gonna wrap up here in a couple minutes, but I want to tell you, Toby, you'll like this. We have had a lot of interesting people on this show.
Yeah.
And it started really as almost like I don't want to say Charlie Rose, but there was a table, there was a round table, and it was just me and a guest. And I'm not Charlie Rose, and I, like you, I like to perform, and I like to do bits and sketches and stuff like that. So gradually we move the furniture around a little bit, and now we're at the phase where we're almost ready to take off. We're in the phase. This is inside the actor's studio, because when you talk, like I said to you, when you talk about it's a show all about comedy from the creators. That's great, but the creators have to be creating.
Right.
Otherwise, you're talking about comedy, which is not good. Can't talk about comedy.
Yeah, that'll kill you.
Got to be doing it. So we're morphing our way in, but we've had some people on the show. I think you're going to love this. Can we take a look? Let's take a look at 3 clips. And the first one that I want to do is a guy, an actor that you'd love named Tom DeMena, comes on with Taylor Negron. And do you know who Tom is?
Taylor was at Cos's party. I talked to Taylor.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I'm going to see him on Wednesday. I love.
I just found out he was old buddy. He kind of grew up with Sid Strauss, an old buddy of mine.
Is that right?
Yeah, Sid.
I know the name.
She was in
another guy.
She was in the Pete and Pete's. Yeah, she was in the Pete and Pete's.
I know
How about
that name too. No, Taylor. I mean, so he comes on with this guy.
Right.
The guy is a young man who does dead-on Telly Savalas.
Oh,
but also
fantastic.
sings.
Crazy.
Okay, so let's take a look
How weird is that?
Let's take a look at Tom Demena as Telly Savalas.
Oh, nice.
Watch this.
Love and loss. Until the song's been interpreted by somebody who's been there. Somebody like your man, Aristoteles Savalas. Well, you got yourself a three-legged racehorse, baby. I'll give you a for instance. 1965, the Righteous Brothers recorded this little gem, and God love them, they almost got it right. You never close your eyes anymore. When I kiss your lips. And there's no tenderness like before. In your fingertips. Oh, you're trying hard not to show it. But baby, I know it. You've lost that love and feeling. Oh, that love and feeling. You lost that love and feeling. Now it's gone, gone, gone. Ooh. All right, that's it.
That's pretty.
What can you say about that?
Oh, who loves you, baby?
Who loves you, baby? And it's.
Wow.
I told them. I said we should start a business, and the business is called Telegrams. And you go to events and parties, people who knew that acting and that guy, and you give them telegrams. You do little songs and stuff like that. It's going to be a fortune. You're going to make
You could do it. You could do it online where they could open their little email, and it was them him singing "Happy Birthday" individually for $10,000.
Tom, telegrams. Turns out Steven Spielberg loved Telly Savalas. Go do a birthday wish. Now,
that's great.
Before and you did this film. I interviewed him too at one point on stage. Jon Favreau. You did a film with him, Cowboys and Aliens, coming out 2011.
Yeah, the summer.
Then the summer
2011. Hopefully.
What? How? Who? What? How did that happen? And
I just
what was
auditioned for that thing, and it was a great little role. A guy gets to get stinko drunk and then gets blasted into the Rio Grande River. It was pretty fun. The alien ships come down and they blast them. So they actually got one of these giant pressurized fucking cannons that they had on the end of a giant crane, and they're aiming it at me. And they said, you know, really take your, because it was me just going to take I was just going to pee into the Rio Grande River, getting drunk with some guys. You know, Harrison Ford, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and I go to pee in the river, and then I get blasted in. But Favreau goes, you know, I think you're going to take a shit too. I said, oh, really? I was a little disappointed at first, like, oh, really? And then he said, no, go squat there on the edge. And I went, oh, that's hilarious. And then it was me. So it was me squatting there. I took my pants and I was squatting on the edge. And they did one take, and they blasted my ass. They have this giant tube that's about 4 feet diameter. It's a giant fucking metal tube, 15 feet long, and then it tapers, and it's like a gun. So the you know, the spout's about this big around, and they pressurize that thing. And they flicked the switch, and it goes boom, and it blasted me into the Rio Grande River.
Were you really lifted off, or they?
Oh, I blasted back. Oh yeah. No, there was no wire or something. It was a giant concussion of air.
And you're up in the air, and you're going.
Not really up. I got smashed back over the Rio Grande River and then down with my pants coming down.
That's insane.
And then had to get them try to get them back up. And then they had a camera in the water, and I guess it was a little low, and I didn't get them up in time. So there's some of that they can't use, hopefully.
There isn't anything. I do frontal, I do dorsal, and I do ankle. There isn't anything that can phase you. I have a feeling, like a casting director gets on the. This is a guy who gets blasted over the Rio Grande River with his pants around his ankles.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on my way. It's amazing.
Was it that movie Human Nature I did, and I had the. You got to wear the sock on your penis when you're a naked guy running around.
That's right. Was that a Robin Williams movie? Was Human Nature? Or
no, it was the Michel Gondry picture.
Oh, Michel. Oh,
yeah.
God. You work with Michel Gondry.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. I did some Bjork videos too a while ago. Kind of weird.
You have had an amazing career. No, you've got to come back. You're going to come back.
Sure.
And you come back, and you're going to bring Pat and Mark.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll bring these knuckleheads. Yeah, we could do a whole show, and
let's do
character
that.
get the lampshades on too. That's the other people that work with us, lampshades, are really
amazing.
fantastic. Yeah.
Let's just turn it over. Well, it'll be your show in this show.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Let's just do that.
Yeah.
All right, and now let's go out with like 2 clips. I want to show you David Cross. We had an interview. And David, we're talking about acting and the things that actors go through. And one of the things to survive, one of the things that an actor really must prepare for is going on inside the actor's studio. Take a look. Here's David Cross talking about inside the actor's studio. So you've always been such a terrific actor. Did you have acting train? Did you study at all this kind of stuff, or did you just sort of had it?
I studied for 32 years under James Lipton.
Then you don't mind me asking this question.
And I don't mean that figuratively. I mean that literally.
You're still studying him, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah. I've just made my way down to the tape.
See, I was going to ask you if you're planning on being on Inside the Actors Studio, because you would be. It would be
hypocritical for one thing.
You know what? No one from the Actors Studio has been on Inside the Actors Studio ever. That's number one. And number 2, I can't wait to hear you answer the question, when you enter the gates of heaven, what do you want God to say?
Yeah. Well, I doubt I'll ever be invited onto the Inside the Actors Studio because I'm not commercially successful enough, which is growing up as a kid, being enthusiastic about the arts and acting and drama and good art, whether it's theater, movies, television, good acting, and I didn't equate it with commercial success, but apparently, according to James Lipton's barometer, it's all about commercial success.
Yeah, when he had Steven Seagal on, that's when I kind of checked out.
Did he really?
No, but wouldn't it be great if he did?
Oh.
I mean, I think you do Inside.
I mean, you're going to run out of people at some point.
I think, and he's got that tone where he just stops and he says, "And then we come to."
Oh yeah, it's the best part.
And then it's like the most ridiculous. Then we come to Ghostbusters.
Well, the stuff we did on Mr. Show was, we looked at a few tapes. I mean, they were inspired by, as most sketches on Mr. Show were, one of us, Bob or I, or one of the other writers would come in and go, "Oh my God, did you see this fucking thing on TV or in the news or whatever?" And then we talk about this ridiculous thing and our take on it, and then the sketch would evolve from there. But with Inside the Actors Studio, there were a couple specific things that we took for that sketch. One being he had Ben Affleck on, and obviously this was years and years and years ago. But he started with, he looks, sort of stares at the guest, and he's like, and I don't know the year, but 1995 Oscar winner, Best Screenplay. 1997, the Blockbuster Award. 1998, again, the Blockbuster Award. It went from Oscar to Blockbuster Award. That's why you're on my show, where we're celebrating you as an actor, and we want nothing against Ben Affleck or anybody else trying to learn anything, but come on. You went from Oscar to the Blockbuster Award? It's not a real award. It's a popularity contest.
Yeah, but then you've got, but what I love about it is you've got this caged group of students who want to look like they're paying attention and actually might want to hear something from the actor.
They know what they're getting into. Come on, they love it.
Well, have you've heard him interview a student will stand up and ask a question, and they always sound like they're 80 years old and they should be wearing an ascot. You know the thing where they say, "I'm in the directing track. My name is Phyllis," and then they throw the hair back and the ascot comes out. I mean, it's crazy out there. That's David Cross. Where am I looking? All of a sudden, I was Clarence the Cross-Eyed Lion. I went out for a few minutes. I'm like the guy in Memento. I don't really know I need posters.
Cross will do that to you.
That's why he's called David Cross. My God, it's unbelievable.
He's great.
Let's just say, we just talked about, while we were watching, we talked about The Day the Clown Cried and doing it live with Patton Oswalt at the old Largo.
Yeah, and Cross and those guys.
And you played Jerry.
Yeah,
and you got a cease and desist order.
We in Santa Monica. There's lawyers.
Yeah.
Jerry's lawyer showed up and they said, So then everybody was already in the audience, so it was just, you know, Crossnote and Kirk and a bunch of dudes, you know, fucking around for an hour.
Oh, that's
because we thought, well, we got to do something for these people, right?
That's
and that
the
was
greatest.
probably 90.
I know that you came to see The Day the Clown Cried. We're
However.
not doing. I'm sorry to disappoint you. People will not be marching into the ovens tonight. What do you say to people?
There's one great gag in there. There's a faucet. There's a sink, and both faucets have cold written on them. Because it's so chilly there in Auschwitz.
Oh, Jerry, please, Jerry, the bellboy to that. All right, see. This has been an amazing year. This is our last show for this year, but we're coming back in January 9th. We're going to come back with Andy Kindler, Dave Foley, Margaret Cho, Melinda Hill, Dave Horowitz from Dealbreaker, Tony Sam, John Ennis, Dave Tuber, Greg Proops, Janine Garofalo, did I say many, many more.
That's a good year.
That's a pretty good year.
That's a good year.
We're gonna have. It's gonna be more. We're gonna do a little bit more variety. We're gonna have Toby. We're gonna have Rudy, the Rudy Cassone show here within this show, and gonna bring back some friends. And you know, I can't thank you enough.
Hey, it's a pleasure.
You are
Thanks,
a
man.
pleasure to talk to.
That was fun.
Thank you. More Dark Shadows talk though is coming.
Yeah,
all right, we gotta talk
that's
about
good
Dark
stuff. My daughter and I love that Dark Shadow.
I got to get the DVDs for my daughter. Man, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody on the show. I want to thank Vicky Pezza for producing.
Yeah.
And for doing some great segments this year.
Thanks.
Many more next year.
Just to let you know, too, I got attacked in the chat room because apparently my mom's watching.
Oh,
She's
that's
like, that
great.
was a lousy impression of me, and I still don't know why Carnival was canceled.
Well,
I can't win. Merry Christmas, right?
Listen, your daughter is fantastic, and Carnival or Carnival will be showing it soon, and we'll get to you. And Toby will answer some of your questions next time. Okay. And also, I want to thank Julie Mitchell. I know you watch Julie. She's amazing.
That's pretty funny.
You talk about timing and from another time. That's
Yeah.
not from today.
Yeah.
She's Julie Mitchell, who you'll see on House on January 10th. I want to thank everybody out there, and we're going out there in the coming year so that you can see what goes on in the control room area. It's like mission control out there. We have Kenny, we have Will on sound, we have Matt, Rob, we have Elric Kane, who's the producer of a lot of shows here on This Weekend and a filmmaker. I'm delighted to have him. I want to thank Mark Jeffrey. I want to thank Kevin Pollak. Wouldn't be here without him. Thank you, Kevin.
I think there are more bongs out in that Mission Control than there are at NASA.
You think? People actually don't have to fly because they're already too high. This is fantastic. I want to go out with a clip of one of my favorites. We had Karen Kilgariff and Rob Delaney on one night.
Oh, that's fun.
Now, if you haven't seen the Mad Men parody from the Mad Men from Boston on Funny or Die from Rob Delaney, check that out because that's amazing. And the great Karen Kilgariff, who is a terrific singer and has a unique song for the holidays. Check out Karen Kilgariff. That's a wrap for 2010. Thanks for watching. I'm Ed Krasnick for This Week in Comedy. Good night.
Jesus walks and he runs and he flies. He can harness the wind. He's in charge of who lives and dies. He has open wounds and his heart's on fire. He can see us right now. He is watching us. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's behind you. Jesus lived, then he had to die because of your sins, because of how much you lie. He forgives you now. You'll see him soon. And then when you do, he will smash you. Oh my God. Oh my God. Jesus will smash That's my Jesus song, everybody.
Oh, Karen Kilgariff, everybody.
That's it.
Wow. Jesus.